Okay, we are live. This is Attorney Vince Davis, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined by my two special co-hosts, Ms. Deidre Payne, Miss Payne from Orange County, California. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Good. And I also have Mr. Darren Guy from the state of Maine. Mr. Guy, how are you today?
I'm all right. I really wish that I had a last name like Deidre's because that's something like bring the pain, Deidre. Like then you're like Mr. Guy, how are you? Like I've got nothing of the follow up of something like that. It's crazy.
And I see we have a special guest tonight, Miss Darlene. Is it Hamner?
Yes, it is.
Miss Hamner, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What state are you coming to us from?
California.
Oh, you're from California.
Yes.
What
San
county?
Bernardino. She's close, she said.
San Bernardino, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm out there a couple times a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
So, what's going on with CPS in San Bernardino and Miss Hamner?
So we haven't, I don't even know where to start, from the full beginning or from, just recent stuff, because that's really what matters, what's present, right, or something like that. Okay, so we have a worker that we asked her to leave our home because it was a voluntary program, and then we get to go to court, and then we get a court thing, or they call us to go to court a week later. And so we go to court and we read the petition that this worker wrote for me, my fiance, and my son's father. And there are a whole set of lies on this petition that this lady just made up stuff about both fathers, made up lies about me, and we showed the judge evidence contradicting what she said, and he said, okay, you can keep your kids, and just because of all this evidence you showed, but then you got to do this and do that and that. And I'm like, well, what happened about all these lies that this lady just told on this petition? What is going to happen with that? You know what I mean? And I'm still fighting for my kids. I've passed every test I needed to take. I got in a program, I have my sponsors, I have all that good stuff going on, and I'm still just fighting for them. For
Her kids are in her care, though, Mr. Davis.
my kids are in my care still.
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
And everybody says it's always a weird case. It's different, and I'm like, I know they're still in my care, yes, because literally they have no, the lady came to my home and told me, said, it doesn't matter how clean your home is, we'll remove your kids over anything we want to move them to, and now we have this new caseworker, and she wants us to go down there for an interview tomorrow, and she wants me to bring my kids down there, and I literally don't trust CPS. I don't want to take my kids anywhere near them. But I don't want to not show, and then a judge be like, oh, you are not compliant, and your kids are gone now. But I don't want to go somewhere I don't trust these people with my babies.
How long have you had your children?
I've had them ever since they were born.
So why did they even start the case?
They started a case from my first daughter. She was born, and we I don't know, it's live. Okay, let's put it out there. We both were, had drugs in our system when she was born, and so our first worker, she didn't take the baby from me then. We came home, and we did parenting classes. I did the therapy, and I started the IVR program and stuff like that, and I got pregnant again, and then my babysitter got a job, and I had a babysitter, so I never finished the program. And so,
she's nervous.
I had another baby. A nurse found a vape in the room, and so they called a social worker for a vape sitting in our room after I had my second daughter, and so that's what started CPS looking into our case. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And so they want to do this voluntary program, whatever it is, and then we couldn't work with the worker, and we asked her to leave our home. We tried to get a hold of the supervisor, and the supervisor basically told me that we were lying, that we never tried to get a hold of her, and we weren't trying to. Yeah, it's a whole hot mess, to be honest with you.
How long ago was that?
My first daughter was born in 2021.
And you've been in the juvenile system, getting a reverb there. You've been in the juvenile system for 2 years?
I guess so, but the first case I really did, the worker never called me, never checked up on me. Once I got in the program, I never heard from them ever again until now, and so I never knew what happened in my case, to be honest with you.
She has a 4-month-old too. So.
I have a 4-month-old too.
And that you have also?
Yes, I do. I have all my children.
That's great. That's so good.
And so
But
Yeah.
are they? Do they still have an open CPS case on you?
I literally have no idea. I've been asking for my file on the case or any information. I literally have no paperwork from CPS whatsoever. But yeah, except for this petition that I just got. This lady wrote up and all the evidence I had to contradict what she said.
When's the last time you've been to court?
Last time we were at court was maybe a month ago, when we have to go again on the 14th.
Oh, so you still have a case open then?
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
going tomorrow to meet with her caseworker.
Yeah,
though,
they
she
want me to
said.
go tomorrow to go to an interview
With her
bring my
kids.
children down to the office, and I don't want to, but I will, but I don't want to.
Have you talked to your attorney?
My attorney still works, it's a court-appointed attorney, so literally, I don't think she's really trying to help me, because, so question here, are you allowed to record conversations and videotape anything that happens with them, or no?
It's unless they give you permission, it's actually a crime in California.
Okay, what about if it's in your home?
If you have a sign up that says that it's surveillance video going on.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Well, it's not like I recorded anything or took videos, because if I recorded anything, I would have all the evidence on that recording, not had to go print it up for the judge. Yeah. So I don't know what to do about this interview tomorrow. I am going to go, but I'm just nervous about taking my children down to a CPS office.
Does she have to go, Mr. Davis?
Well, I guess if she agreed to go, and she should really talk to her attorney, because I don't know what the status of her case is.
Yeah, I
For
don't know.
example, let me give you an example. There may be a court order that says she must cooperate with CPS. Judges frequently make that order.
Yeah.
If she doesn't show up, that could be a violation of the court order.
Yeah.
Now, so when you ask me, does she have to go? I don't know.
The judge said we
I
have
haven't
to
seen
comply with anything they say they want us to do, but yeah.
But I haven't seen any minute orders in her case. So I really can't.
She doesn't even know if she has an open case, she says.
Well, she already said she was in court a month ago, and she's going in a couple weeks. So she has an open case.
But
Yeah.
she also said that she did not sign a safety plan or any paperwork.
I haven't signed a safety plan or anything. We never got that far.
Safety plans are irrelevant once the case starts.
Okay.
But the thing that's weird is that they haven't removed her kids. That's what's weird to me.
So what's moot once you get into the court hearings, Mr. Davis? Like, what is, like you hear people say, well, this. What is moot points once you move into the new combat, I guess?
Say that again.
What is the moot points? So you hear everybody for instance, well, like you just said, the safety plan doesn't mean anything after you get into court hearings and such. When is the end all of the previous, what they were looking at, opposed to where the new investigation begins? What's the cutoff, the starting point? What's valid anymore? What's not valid?
There is none.
Well, I mean, you just said that,
everything is open game.
Okay.
So what can I do about these lies on this petition? How do I go about that?
Well, first of all, I don't know what lies you're talking about.
Okay, so okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But generally speaking, you would want to talk to your lawyer, come up with a strategy and a defense, and present that to the judge either by way of trial or argument.
I don't really have a lawyer. I have the court-appointed attorney, which works for the
That's
court
what he means.
system. Huh?
That's what he's meaning, your court-appointed attorney lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, but I know she works for the court system who, I don't know. I just don't trust nobody. No.
Did you watch yesterday's episode?
Sorry, what?
Did you watch our show yesterday?
I did not.
You should definitely go back, take our show yesterday, and see what Mr. Davis talked about what you just said about your attorney. You should definitely check yesterday out and revisit that.
Okay.
because you just did exactly as as we spoke.
Yeah.
Darlene, and Deidre, there's something that I want you guys to understand. I am not clairvoyant and I am not all-knowing. Okay? So when you ask me a question about a case, generally speaking, I really can't answer that because there are so many orders that have been made in a case, so many factual findings. I can't give you advice unless I know those. If the judge said A, B, C, I might tell you to go this way. If the judge said X, Y, Z, I might tell you to go that way. But
I think that's what's so difficult with her, though, is that she really doesn't even know where she stands with anything at this point.
Well, how is that my fault?
No, I'm not saying it was, but I think she just doesn't know what questions to ask you because she doesn't even know where she stands.
Well,
Yeah.
the problem is that, you come on the show and you tell us what's going on, but don't you feel like there's something wrong if you don't know some basic things about the case?
Yes.
Now, is that your fault? Is it your attorney's fault? Whose fault is it? Is it a little bit of both?
No, it should be your fault because you need to find out.
I've never met Darlene. I've never talked to her before. I just came on the show and there she was, and boom, we went live. Right?
Well, we were talking earlier because we were on since 6:30 because that's the time we were told.
Well, that means you know more than I know.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was trying to help her explain what she was trying to ask you in a way, I think, is why I was trying to chime in a little bit there. But yeah, so what she was telling me before you came on is that she had CPS come into her life before, like with her, 2-year-old, you said? And then, she started doing everything she was supposed to, and then her caseworker kind of just disappeared, and her case never really finished or whatever, but then she got her pregnant and had her second child, which is 4 months old, and then something came about with this vape pen being found, and then CPS kind of came back into her life in a way, but she doesn't even really know what happened with, like, the first case, so to speak. So if anything, I think she's just completely confused herself, but the whole thing that I think would be scary to her is meeting with this caseworker tomorrow and having to bring her kids. Like, she has no idea what this is about and what it could entail, and I would be scared too. But like you said, she should be calling her attorney and asking them what this meeting is about tomorrow, I guess.
So here's what I fear. She says, should I go to the meeting? If I say yes, and she goes to the meeting and they take her kids,
That's your fault.
It's all Davis's fault.
But if you say no,
if I say no and she gets her kids taken away, it's all Davis's fault.
That's why she should contact her attorney.
Really?
I know.
That's what you said.
What a novel idea.
She doesn't want to contact them because she knows that they are basically corrupt.
Yeah, if they work for the courts, they're basically.
We're going to give you expert status.
Johnny Cochran, no longer.
For that answer, we're going to give you expert status.
Well, maybe your court-appointed attorney can at least tell you the title of this meeting that's going to happen tomorrow, so you can be a little bit more mentally prepared.
She said it's like an interview. She wants to interview my 11-year-old, 2-year-old, and 4-month-old. And I understand, how do you interview a 4-month-old, an 11, or a 2-year-old? And I'm like,
that already sounds bad news.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how she's going to interview a 4-month-old or a 2-year-old that, barely, doesn't know what she's asking her, doesn't know what she's saying.
That's where all the false BS will then come.
Like, it's an interview. Like, I don't understand how they're going to be in an interview with you. Like, I don't get it. I understand my 11-year-old, but he's gone with his dad, and they're like he's not even going to be there. Like, I'm already in trouble already if I go down there. Not all 3. I'm only going to have 2, because the other one's with his dad, and they're out, like, enjoying summer break. And their vacation.
Yeah, your case sounds very confusing.
Deidre, let me ask you something.
Yes.
Here you are involved in the most important thing in your life. The most important case ever. And you don't know. You don't know anything about it.
That wouldn't be me.
But
I think
you
I
know,
would have been getting my answers tried to be solved
but if there
sooner
was
than the day
but
before.
if there was any percentage that you could extrapolate, you know, how many people come on this show that know anything about their case?
Very few people.
Right.
Is that they think they know or they do know?
That know about their case.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
They might think they know, but they most
that,
likely don't.
that's a problem we should address. But it's not, let me tell you something. It's not just a problem of your court appointed attorney.
No, yeah.
There's some issues going on inside your head and your heart that you're not addressing because you've got PTSD because you lost your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not able to like focus. I'm representing a guy right now. His first court date is, I think, Thursday. And the guy's a working guy and was, going along well in life. Something happened. Not anything he did, by the way. He seems to be non-offending. And they took the kid, and the kid's like 5 years old. And he doesn't know where the kid is.
Oh,
And he's going crazy. Literally. He can't get a hold of himself.
yeah.
Now, by the way, if it were me, same thing.
Well, at least he's already contacted you, though.
Right. He did. He did, but he's still contacting me. I tell him what's going on. I tell him what to do, what not to do.
Oh, he hasn't hired you?
No, he has.
Oh, okay.
He's still going crazy, though.
Well, if he's listening, be rest assured that you are in definitely good hands. So that could help him a little bit, but yeah.
But that's not the whole, what I'm trying to point out. The point out is when we lose our kids,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Your world stops. Yep.
Right.
Logic right out the window.
Right. The world as you know it has ended.
Mm-hmm.
I would venture to say that for 99% of the people, your kids are your most important thing in your life.
Absolutely.
Should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
The most important thing.
You brought him into this world.
So then how do you deal with some stranger coming along with a court order or warrant or the police or the sheriffs, and they take the most important thing in your life, and you don't know why? And it's not funny, but the weird thing is, in most of the cases that I get or people call me on, nothing happened to the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or the kid might not even have been present when whatever it was that happened.
Right. Nothing happened to the kid.
But now the kid is going to have something happen to them because they're going to be so traumatized by being taken from their family.
Right. But think about that for a minute. Nothing happened to the kid, and you take away the kid. There's something wrong with that.
There's something wrong with that.
And you make something happen to them, though, as far as traumatizing them to the core.
Right. Now, I can see them coming out, taking your kid, if it's alleged that you beat the kid.
Oh, yeah.
Facts.
Sexually abused the kid. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn the kid with cigarettes. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that. But when mom and dad have a fight when the kid was at grandma's house, how do you lose the kid?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Punishing them instantly.
Here's something, and I know a lot of people will like raise their eyebrows. In my mind, in California, use of a drug, an illegal drug, is not sufficient to lose your child.
And me neither.
It's not a strict liability thing. They have to prove, in my mind, that you use the drug and that you weren't able to care for the child going at that time or going forward. You know, when we say people are using drugs, the first thing that comes to my mind is some guy laying out in the gutter high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Facts.
But I don't think I've ever had that case. You know, because that guy, he never comes to court or never cares about coming to court. You know, most of the cases where there's drugs involved, you know, dad went out
You
and
wouldn't even
partied.
know they do drugs.
Right. Dad went out and partied, or, you know, mom went out and partied, and it was, you know, an occasional thing. But we've talked about this before, functioning drug addicts. Now, am I saying that's the optimal thing to raise a kid? No, I'm not saying that. But do we actually uproot a child and take a child from the family home, put him in a foster home where he or she goes crazy, and that's never reported to the judge,
Or it could be abused there. Actually be abused there
which happens,
all the time.
you know. So one of the things that I've become aware of in the past year is what actually happens to the kid. Nobody ever talks about that. Most of the time you go through the case and it's like, oh, the kid's at the foster home doing fine, no problem, you know. And that's not true.
When, like the other day, that kid was crying hysterically to where the teenager had to call.
Right.
You know.
And a lot of times the judge and the parents and the courtroom, we never hear about that. But that's something that we should be taking into consideration when we decide to keep the kid, you know, away from the family.
Yeah, I mean, where else in the world do you find something that you did nothing wrong and you literally are the one that is punished? You know, like that's what I had said in my case. My case had nothing to do with my daughter whatsoever, but yet they removed her, put me in a jail cell. Put me in a jail cell till you can figure this out. Let her stay with her mother. There's no reason for the kid to be punished. You know, this was about something that I allegedly had done. So it made no sense, 0 sense. And like you're saying, that happens more often than not. And I'm sure any parent would take in a second, you know, the punishment or that type of, you know, put themselves away so that their child could be, you know, stay home and everything.
Well, the child that I lost wasn't even born when my case opened. Meaning he wasn't even in existence yet. But then at the end of the day, he's the one that I lose.
Hey, you know, I want to mention to people that are watching, because a couple of people have posted that their children were abused in foster care. If your child was abused in foster care, I put my email. I want you to email me because I'd like to talk to you about it. Now, let's get back to Darlene. We haven't forgotten about you, Darlene.
It's okay. I'd like to listen.
Were there any questions you wanted to ask me this evening?
There's so many. I don't know which one to choose. You know what I mean? So like, I don't even know where to start.
Call your attorney.
Huh? I don't trust no attorney that works for the county or works for those court systems. And I don't know. I've been trying to I actually just filled out a form for your office, didn't it? So I'm working on that, trying to get you. And yeah.
What if they take your kids tomorrow, though? You're gonna be.
I don't know.
Is that something that she should be concerned about tomorrow when they say bring your kids? Is that like a?
But she told me it's like the interview, like, you know, because it's a new caseworker, so it's,
right.
I don't know, starting fresh.
She could go to this interview and it'd be just fine. Or she could go to the interview and they could take the kids. But you don't know, because then they're not going to tell you that, because if they tell you that, she's not going.
You're not sleeping tonight.
Have I ever heard of social workers telling a parent to bring the kids down, we just want to talk to them, and they end up taking the kids? Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, and I don't trust no social worker. I already got one that's lied on 3 petitions about me, you know, and the kids' dads and all this stuff, and I don't want to trust another one. There ain't no way.
Can't she force her court-appointed attorney to go with her in order to speak with this caseworker?
No.
But But if you had Mr. Davis, you could do that. Mr. Davis would do that for you.
I know. I've been talking to, one of his associates, and so I'm working on getting him, but I don't know if it's gonna be by tomorrow.
Well, be sure and let us know what happens.
Oh, I will. Yeah, no problem.
So, you live in San Bernardino County?
Yes.
Okay. And what social worker's office are you going to? Tell me the city.
The San Bernardino.
It's in San Bernardino?
Yes.
Okay. San Bernardino is a large, very large county geographically.
Yes, it is.
Not in population, but geographically, it's a huge, huge county.
Is that a good court, you would say, as far as the judges go, or not so good?
I'm not going to comment one way or the other.
I don't know if that's a good answer, Darlene.
I know, right?
He'll probably tell you what courtroom you're going to be in and everything.
Wait a minute. Darlene has her children. So it's been good.
I know, but tomorrow I would be very fearful of Darlene.
She's not going to court.
She's going to talk to the caseworker, though, with her kids.
Right. But the judges make the ultimate decision, right?
I think it's down at their office where I have to go.
Yeah. So the judges in the courthouse make the ultimate decision, and she's got her children in her custody. She has an open case. So it's been going, I would say it's going good for her, at least as of now. She has her kids and has had her kids.
But this is a new caseworker on her case that hadn't ever met with her.
Yeah, but that doesn't have
She
anything
could change
to do with
the whole game, right?
That doesn't have anything to do with the judges.
Right.
She can't ask the judge for an immediate warrant to remove her kids tomorrow after the interview.
She could.
So
remember,
I
we just talked about this right before the show. We just talked about that.
I can ask the court-appointed attorney to the evidence that we showed the judge that day. I can ask her to put it in the file so it's in there, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
But you said the judge already took that evidence in, and that's why you still have your kids, right?
But he read it. I don't know if it was actually submitted in a file. You know what I mean? There's, I don't know. I guess.
No, if he read it, he considered it, and it's in the file.
And so the judge also didn't even care that the worker lied on this petition. That's a major problem in my eyes. You can't just
let you keep your kids though.
Yeah, because I contradict everything she said. But I mean, how many other people is she gonna lie about, and how many times is the judge are they gonna come up with the evidence to prove it like I did? What if they don't have the time to come up with that evidence and they lose their kids because they didn't?
No, but because the judge let you keep your kids is what I'm saying is a good thing, as far as most judges would look at your evidence and still not really let you keep your kids, if that makes sense, and would just go with what that social worker was trying to say.
He was going to remove our kids, and he gave us a week to come up with evidence to prove, what she was saying, evidence to prove why she should keep them. And so we proved everything that worker said in our petition. We had evidence to prove anything that was false. That's the only reason that we kept our kids, or he would have removed them.
Then you should be good. You should be good then.
Nah, I still don't trust nobody over there.
Don't.
Do you have your attorney's telephone number or text number or email?
Yeah, I have the telephone and email. Yeah, but she takes a day to call me back, or a couple of days to email me back.
Does she know that you're meeting with your caseworker tomorrow?
Yes, yeah.
And she just told you it was an interview and that was it?
Well, the caseworker told me that. I haven't been able to get a hold of her since I talked to the caseworker. I haven't been able to get a hold of my lawyer.
Well, hopefully things are going to be working out. How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
How old?
I have an 11-year-old son, almost 2 daughter, and a 4-month-old.
Oh, so young.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want them to take them, because then they I heard that they get adopted out pretty fast.
Yeah, that's happened to me with my youngest.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life. Yeah.
Mr. Davis, can she even tell where she is as far as her timeline, like with what hearings she's going to be approaching, or do you even know?
I don't even know.
He doesn't know.
That's weird to me.
And everybody always says it's a weird case, and
Because with your first case, technically, you said you were doing all the services, and then like nobody contacted you anymore. You just kind of like fell away in the lost of the mix or something. Like
yeah, like I never was contacted by
you
them
never
again.
had a next upcoming court date with that case, though.
No, never. I never heard from that worker ever again once I finished the
That is
appraisal classes
so
or
weird.
the therapy. Yeah, I never
Isn't that
heard
weird,
from
Mr.
them
Davis?
again.
Nope.
That's
Well,
not
they're
weird.
supposed to relieve, aren't the caseworkers supposed to relieve themselves at different
Yeah.
stages? Isn't that part of like their plans? Like if you go, I know for instance, they have the intake people, and then the intake people hand it over to the next stage
The
of
senior
whomever,
social worker.
and then they get to
Yeah.
Jeopardy. Up here in Maine, they call it Jeopardy. And then after the Jeopardy, they're supposed to switch it to another caseworker. I didn't see that happen, but that's what their book says.
Well,
But at different flights, they're supposed to switch off, right? Just to prevent any sort of bias.
It depends on what county and state you're in. LA does something like you just mentioned, but I know some counties, and when they got short of social workers in San Bernardino, there was one worker on the whole case.
and yeah, they can't even go back and check on the kids they already have in foster care. Apparently, from what I've seen on the news or read lately, like
Something happened about 2 or 3 years ago. There was a mass exodus of social workers from your county
yeah.
to other counties, and I think it had to do with finances. But then I think a grand jury just came out with a really bad finding against your county as far as CPS is concerned. Darren, while we're on here, Google that, see if you can find anything about San
It is
Bernardino.
because Cynthia just talked about it on her show last week with her therapist, Gary Riley, because he's from the San Bernardino, Riverside
Okay.
area. And he made a comment about that when he was talking to the guest about how they were short on social workers and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they were short because there was a mass exodus.
Yeah.
But
They're in like a lot of trouble, aren't they?
the
Like
grand jury finding against them, I forget what it was for. That's separate from, well, maybe related, but it's really separate from the mass exodus of social workers.
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. I'm like, I don't even see how they're under investigation and they're still allowed to even threaten to remove kids from their home. I don't understand that.
Okay. Are we disbarring the shooting one that killed the people at the social services building?
Yeah, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, that was at least 14. San Bernardino shooting kills at least 14. December 2nd, 2015.
Oh no, this is something that happened. The grand jury finding was something like
okay, all right. Well, this is what plagues when you first pull it. So I was just looking here. All right, we'll pass that one and I'll find this then.
Is that better?
Okay, we lost Darlene.
Okay, so
hold on a second. Okay, let's see.
Mr. Davis, I think she was thinking you were commenting on her. You mean my sound is bad, right?
Correct.
It's not you, Darlene. It's me. You're fine.
Oh, okay. So I still sound okay?
Yeah, he put Deidre as in me in the chat.
Oh, okay. I thought, yeah, okay. I
Oh yeah,
that.
you're good.
okay, so the lawsuit comes 5 months after the San Bernardino County Grand Jury called for. Okay, I think I found it right here.
It's still weird.
I'm going to go ahead and deemed too broken to fix. San Bernardino County Child Services is sued on behalf of nearly 6,000 kids.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you're probably thinking of, huh?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, I'm going to send you the link right now. And then you can...
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble out here, and I don't even understand how they are even allowed to function or even be up anymore.
Well, you know what's a good thing is, do we have anybody to be a team captain in San Bernardino yet?
No, we don't.
Nope.
Team captain.
Well,
Darlene, it's you.
Yeah, can we just shut this place down? And get it all started up again with like normal people that aren't corrupt and like know what they're supposed to do, like help families, not hurt them.
mm-hmm.
Mr. Davis is
5,800
probably
views.
typing something.
So it says a federal class action lawsuit on behalf of more than 5,800 youths alleges San Bernardino County Children and Family Services, an agency that was deemed too broken to fix by a civil grand jury, failed to protect children under its care and at times placed them in danger.
Yeah.
The lawsuit filed Thursday morning claims that overburdened caseworkers are unable to perform required visits and inspections of foster homes, and that the agency fails to properly vet homes and families where children are placed, sometimes with dire consequences. A Better Childhood is a nonprofit group that filed the lawsuit.
Yeah, I've already read all that. Yep.
What did the grand jury finding? What did they say?
I'm looking for that right now. There's the one that said that it was too broken to fix. So
Yeah.
there are significant. They said the revelations that are significant amounts of substantiated sexual abuse and physical abuse cases is eye-opening. The grand jury wrote, there are significant and alarming number of cases involving already traumatized children that come into the care of the CFS who have been further physically or sexually abused by a system that was created to protect them. So that's what the grand jury is pretty. They said in 2020, 35 children suffered physical abuse, 27 were victims of sexual abuse, and in 2021, the numbers increased to 55 substantiated cases of physical abuse, 34 cases of sexual abuse, according to the grand jury. San Bernardino Children and Family Services has faced high caseworker turnover, caseloads up to 6 times larger than recommended.
Yeah, I don't trust this
What
county
else it says about
whatsoever.
the grand jury? Okay. Okay, so there's an article right here too that actually directly links it to the grand jury's testimony and everything on the bottom here, the latimes.com. Although the grand jury found that the county agency had taken some action to address the rising number of abuse cases, it called many of the steps reactive and not meant to prevent abuse from happening in the first place. Wow, so they're just slamming these people, huh? The grand
How can
jury
they even still be functioning after all that?
I know.
Yeah, it
See,
says the grand jury alleged the agency lacks independent oversight. Presently, CFS has no local accountability, which allows them to operate behind an air of confidentiality. San Bernardino County Children and Family Services has been plagued with problems for more than 10 years, but despite blistering reviews and reports like those from the grand jury, little has changed. Nothing else is working, she said about the decision to file the suit. Based in New York, A Better Childhood has active cases in New York, New Jersey, Mississippi, Oregon, West Virginia, Alaska, and Texas. Some previous lawsuits have resulted in federal mandates and federal oversight of welfare agencies.
No change in the law, though. Because I was just in San Bernardino last week, and it's business as usual.
Oh, they got it. So it's a 68-page class action lawsuit. I'll send that to you. I'll put this link up there too.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that.
Darlene, you need to hire Mr. Davis like
I'm trying.
today.
I'm talking to one of his associates, and I'm trying to actually just come up with some funds. So, I'm asking around and, trying to figure it out. But I'm working on getting Mr. Davis for sure.
Hey, Darren, did you send me that link for the lawsuit?
Because I'm super
I'm
scared.
doing it. Yeah, I'm actually I had to, you're going to get it in a PDF because it came from Scribe. Unless you're a Scribe guy, and then you can use your own Scribe.
I think his facial expression answered your question.
No, you know why I look that way? Because You got to be really deep into the internet research if you know about Scribe.
This is the link, but I'm giving you the PDF right now. So
I
He
mean,
doesn't even think that was funny, Mr. Davis, because he's.
Deidre, did you even know what Scribe was?
I only knew it, I think, from you or Darren in a previous show.
I mean, if
But
somebody
that's the
has
only
their
reason
own,
why I knew it.
if somebody has their own Scribe account, they're deep into the internet
hey,
stuff.
so you know you're getting quality information from me when you ask. I don't stop at the first list on Google.
Okay, here it is. The Scribe.
Oh,
Here's the Scribe. That's like, you telling me.
Darren finally got his sound to work that he's been trying to do for so long earlier tonight,
Yeah,
Mr. Davis.
you're there.
Play it.
For $1 million, it should work.
Yeah, really.
Let me
It's the
see if I
music
can-
he's been trying to play and let us hear when he hears it.
Yeah, it's
Okay, I posted the link to the lawsuit as well for everyone to take a look at.
all right.
Are you trying to scare Darlene that much
No,
more?
that didn't do it. Don't worry about that.
See,
That
what
didn't.
happened?
I'm
I
going to
missed
email
it.
you the PDF, Mr. D. Okay.
Oh, I got it because I have.
Oh, you got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't go tomorrow.
No.
Just kidding. Sorry. I'm really gonna go because I have to comply with everything they want to ask. But
Whew. All right, I'm back from Scribed. Whew. That's a trip getting there.
And it's a class action complaint for injunctive and declaratory relief. And it's against the governor of California,
Mhm.
apparently some social workers, the Department of Social Services, San Bernardino Board of Supervisors. Well, they really went after him.
But they're still doing what they're doing, right? They said nothing has been changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Hey.
They're just gonna pay these people off, use County of San Bernardino funds, pay these people off, and then move on about their business.
Take some of their 200.
Maybe that's why your caseworker fell off for a while there, Darlene. They didn't have anybody for you.
I know, right? I don't know what happened to her, but she was like, she gave us the right way to do it. Like, go through a program, do all these things, and you know what I mean? Like, she did it the right way. This lady just talked about removal, and it's just like, how scary that is. I just want
Over a vape pen. That's how this new.
Yeah, this nurse made a big ordeal because it was in the hospital after I had the baby. Like, it was on the table. Like, it wasn't.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's getting so ridiculous.
Like,
it's getting so ridiculous that they're taking little tiny, minute instances of things that happen. It's not like you dropped a butcher knife or a machine gun, and like, oh,
Well, how could they prove that it was even hers? What if it was her husband's or whatever?
Like, come on,
because that was the claim from the nurse saying that it smelled in there and all this stuff. And I was like, you're joking me, right? Like, it was on a table.
What if it was your husband's and not even yours?
And she still made a claim about it, and still, it was a hot mess, to be honest with you.
I'm surprised they didn't take your baby from the hospital.
That was
good job, lady. That's awesome. Good for you, Rachel. That's great. I don't know if you guys are reading this, but
not sure if it's appropriate time.
Yep. Need more stories like that.
I'm surprised the social worker even called her to let her know the good news. That's cool.
Good for your daughter.
When she picks her up from me.
Now, don't leave the movement. Don't leave the movement just because you've got your child back. You need to come out and help us with these things, because what's happening here too is, and I don't blame, they get their kids back and they're off to the hills, which, you know what, this hurts the movement itself, because now the movement constantly appears to have no children that come home because everybody else went off to the hills. I get it that you fought hard and it sucked and you're broken and you just want to reunite with your family, but someone's got to stay in the ring here with the guys that are still trying to fight, because the appearance is, no matter what anybody does, there is no children coming home. And that's not true. For all the work that, like Connie Rigoli does, Mr. Davis does, all of these people, there are results. but you just don't see them. And like I said, you can't blame these people for that, because they're like, screw this, man. I had enough. Like, I don't even want the opportunity for my kids to be even looked at, let alone touched again.
Well, look at Cynthia. She just recently had people come out to her house because of a situation she explained, because she does hair in her home. And, she was talking to their client that day about, how easy it could be for someone to just call and make an anonymous call. And next thing you know, next day she had CPS knocking at her door for an anonymous call of something so stupid. I mean, your kids have been home now, I think she said, what, 5 years, Mr. Davis, or 7 years?
They've been home a while.
Yeah. And she's still dealing with it to this day, fearful of any day, anybody could just make a call and they could show right back up in your life,
Hey, Darlene, we're coming to the end of the show.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask me or to say?
I don't think so. I just I don't know.
Okay, well,
No, I think I had a good time on this talk today. Yeah, and I'll probably be seeing you soon, because we're probably gonna hire you, to be honest with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I want to thank you for being on the show this evening and sharing. And keep in touch with us. Let us know what happens, especially if they do something tomorrow. Call me up and let me know. Okay.
And Deidre, send me that link. Yeah.
Oh, she wants a copy of the book. I said I have a digital one. I can send that to her, right, Mr. Davis?
She's signing them now.
I want to go pass them out at the courts. I seriously do. Any help I can give any parents.
Yeah.
All right, Darlene. Yeah. We'll talk
Thank
to you later,
you.
okay?
Have a good night.
Okay. Do you folks have anything, Miss Deidre Payne, that you wanted to say before we end the show tonight?
No, I don't.
No?
No.
It's 7:48, and it looks like where you're at, the sun is still shining. Is that?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I'm
in a room and the blinds are closed, so I can't really tell.
Did you really have that behind you, or is that a green screen?
No, that's really behind me.
That's really behind you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like a pop-up thing or no?
No, I forget what they call it.
Like a curtain or something?
No, it's a background. It's on a frame, believe it or not. The material is stretchy and it's on a frame, and you can actually get get whatever colors or whatever you want to put on it. And I just leave it up in this. It's a second bedroom that I turned into a studio.
I have a funny story for you based off of that, Mr. Davis. Do you remember when you used to have a background with a piano in it?
No.
It looked like your background, like as if I was watching you. It looked like you were maybe like in your living room with like a really nice grand piano in the background. It almost looked like it was your house, right? One day I made a comment about that to Miss G about like, oh, well, his house, I'm just assuming it's so beautiful based off of that picture alone. She started cracking up. She goes, that's not his house. That's just a background picture.
Fountains outside.
No. You know what? That wasn't a background picture.
Oh.
That was actually someone's relative's home.
Okay, well, yeah, I thought that was your home for the longest.
No, as a matter of fact, actually, it wasn't my background. It was a guest host that was on the show with me, whose relative has this, super.
It was beautiful.
Imagine.
I was just assuming what this house was probably looking like.
Right. And Mr. Guai, you know who that co-host is.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
I think I do too. I don't know.
It's Erin Carranza's background when she used to.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, when she used to do the show from a relative's home.
Oh, okay. She probably has a house like that now after what she started, right? With her nonprofit and everything.
I've always had this background. I never had the grand piano, but when she used to do the show with me, she sometimes would do it from that location, a relative's location, and it's a fabulous home, and that grand piano was in the background.
Yeah, I thought that was your house all the time. That was so funny.
I can only.
Look at this background, right? I should just go back to this, right? Like the studio background. Look at that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's
with your 100 computer screens with everything else.
Yeah. I mean, we got things going on in here.
Play your song.
Is
Your
that
presidential song.
is that like a room in your house, like a bedroom or something?
It's his man cave.
I built this room so no thing of a lie. This is built in the center of the 2-car garage.
The center of the okay, all right. So you
And
don't have a garage anymore.
No, there's no more garage.
I mean,
So,
why did you put it in the center?
so people can't hear what I'm doing outside.
Oh, I just thought you would want to take more advantage of your garage and do it to the side.
No, if you're playing loud music or whatever you're doing. Oh, sweet. Yes, Mike, I will do that. I will definitely do that, Mike. But if, like we have bands or whatever, the neighborhood that we live in is pretty higher end. So we had to do something, and we did this studio in the middle of the garage. A lot of people sit there and they, oh, your tinfoil hat. And of course there is that degree of it, but I mean, let me see. I've got my
You haven't played your song yet.
Everybody obviously has their own let me see if it's working right now. Yes. So, we've got our bug transmitters for everybody.
Oh, Lordy.
You never know what you gotta swipe around, like
Does that really work?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See this? There's things going on right now. Of course,
Wow.
these microphones, but yeah, I mean everybody should have one of these, especially dealing with CPS. And that's not a joke. Like that's for real.
Wait, how does it work exactly?
Pretty good.
No, how do you function?
So what happens is that look, I wish I had my other thing with me. I'd show you because there's a field trip. There's literally something over here. But right now it's at full bars, right? So that's obviously because we're right next to this recording equipment. So typically what you would do is you just you turn this on, you go start sweeping, sweep, look, and the numbers will indicate as you're getting closer to that device. I mean, it's really an old-fashioned type piece of equipment, but
like to see if somebody put something on your car to like track you, then that would detect it.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Do you need me to mail you mine? Actually, they
have you ever found something that you didn't know was there from that?
A couple of times. This one I'm not kidding. There's things in my TV right now. I would show you. I could show you exactly. I just don't know how to get it out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
I can see Darren.
And you know what? I wish that I was joking. I really do. I wish that this was just for from my soundboard and everything. But it's not. It's crazy. This life that I've walked into. If you would have asked me 5 years ago if I would be on a TV show with Mr. Davis talking about my kid being TPR'd and things in my TV, I would tell you that you're freaking insane. Never in a million years. But this is where I'm at.
You used to crack me up in the beginning when you didn't have your flag there and all your computer screens, and you'd be in your tank top and you'd be standing up. People used to talk about you and think you were on drugs, and it was like, no, that's just Darren. But it was so funny to watch you.
Man,
Hey, Darren, do you have a green screen background that you use sometimes?
I do. You want to see it?
Don't ask him to find it because
it's right over here. But I do.
Text it or email it to me. I want to check it out.
Okay. They're pretty. Walmart, $10.99. They're really nice.
I don't. What does a green background do?
And they even have clips and everything that
it allows you to have a digital background instead of a background like this, or instead of the flag. You could have a flag digitally, but you need to have usually a green screen. And still, the green screen's not perfect. You can kind of tell that the guy has a virtual background.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, on Zoom, how you could change your backgrounds to virtual. Yeah, you can't do that on StreamYard, though, huh?
Oh, no, you can.
I don't know.
I don't know how you can on StreamYard. I've already looked into it.
When you go into your settings at the beginning, there's a place that says virtual background, and you can click on that, and they actually have
StreamYard?
Yeah.
I never found it.
Yeah. When you log on the next time, take a look at
it. Okay.
Hey, folks, I got to go look. The time is running away with me.
And yes, Susan, they do. Answer to that question.
I want to thank Deidre and Darren for being on tonight, and remind everyone about our seminar on August 5th, this Saturday, and we'll be on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific. So good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.